Hello and welcome back to the Shelby Say podcast. Today we are diving into a topic that completely transformed the way I see myself. Literally, we are talking about color analysis and how understanding the right colors for your unique features can elevate your confidence, enhance your wardrobe, and simplify your life. I'm joined by my friend Kim, my personal color analysis coach. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Whose expertise completely changed the game for me. Our content together has gone wildly viral, racking up over 8 million views between TikTok and Instagram. So clearly, there are people who are curious about color analysis, and we're going to be breaking that all down today. We're going to talk about what color analysis actually is, why it's so powerful, and how knowing your best colors can be a total confidence booster. So, if you've ever felt like certain colors just work for you while others fall flat, this episode is for you. So, let's get into it. Welcome to the podcast, Kim. I'm so
Thank
excited to have
you.
you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and to talk about color.
Yay! It's your favorite thing to talk
It
about.
is.
I did give a little micro intro there, but I would love for you to give a brief introduction on yourself and how you got
Yeah.
started in color analysis.
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Kim Mathisen and I am a House of color analysis expert. And I got into color analysis because, well, two reasons really. Firstly, before my color analysis journey, I was a corporate executive at Amazon and Microsoft. And towards the end of my time there, I was actually looking to get new headshots. And I just had anxiety about it and kept putting it off because I felt like I was going to spend all this money on these professional headshots and I was worried I wasn't going to like the outcome. Oftentimes, when you are on stage or doing speaking engagements, the producers recommend you wear these really bright jewel tones, and I just never felt comfortable in them. And I would see footage or pictures afterwards and be like, I don't even look like myself. And so I was just concerned about that. And I had heard about color analysis because I actually lived in Europe for a couple of years in my 20s, and it's very popular there. And so I was like, I need to find one of those people. So I did. I found a House of Color stylist in my area and had my colors done. And while I went thinking that I was just going to figure out what color shirt to wear for these photos, it ended up completely changing my confidence, how I felt about getting dressed, and so much more in my life that when I decided to retire from my corporate job, I started looking into color analysis as my next gig. So that's how I ended up here and doing color analysis and style analysis for clients in the Seattle area.
I love hearing your background and your story. I've heard it before, but I think what's really great about it and what resonates with me too is this confidence transformation. As you know, when
Yeah.
I came in to see you, I was addicted to self tanner, I think would be a good way to say it. But I was using it as a crutch. I was using a lot of things in my wardrobe as a crutch to make me feel confident. And you were really able to strip it back to like what best suits my unique features and makes me feel beautiful in my skin. So, for anyone that's not familiar with color analysis, let's break it down really
Yeah.
simply. What is color analysis and how does it work?
Yes. So, color analysis helps you discover the perfect color palette for your natural coloring. So, what you were personally born with that allows you to create looks that are in harmony with that natural coloring. So, how do we do that? At House of Color, this service is exclusively offered in person, and I'm happy to talk about why that is if you're curious. But what we do, our stylists use a detailed drape comparison that allows us to look at contrast between how your skin looks in warm colors, for example, versus cool colors. And when we're able to use these precision dyed drapes we go back and forth and we look at how your skin and complexion is affected between the two color tones. And that is effectively how we determine what your optimal color palette is. So we start off with a little color talk about color theory. What are we looking for? I'll educate you a little bit about what I'm looking for and what you might see in your color analysis. Then we do the actual draping where we go back and forth between the colors. After that, in your color analysis appointment, we also play around with makeup. This is a really important piece for women, especially because when we know what the right color harmony is for our skin tone, we want to make sure that we're matching that with our makeup. If you have a cool undertone and you put warm makeup on your skin, you're really working against yourself and your own natural beauty. And so we show you, here's what cool undertone makeup looks like on cool undertones or warm to warm, for example, so that you can really see that for yourself. We make all of our own makeup at House of Color, which is also really awesome because we harmonize it to our own color palettes. And then at the end of your appointment, you get to try on, so to speak, all the colors in your palette. So you can see behind me here, if you're watching this on video, each of the 4 quadrants we have represented behind me. We'll try on every single color in your palette and we'll rate them for you so that you know when you leave your color appointment, not only are you a particular season, but within that season, we'll give you these are your dead level best, and then other colors that may be better for accessories. We'll tell you how to use them. So it's a really educational experience.
No, it completely is. I love how intentional and thoughtful the entire session is. And I know you touched on the difference of meeting in person versus maybe doing
Yeah.
these things online. And it is very trendy right now. So I think we should touch on, the experience that you would get in person versus trying to do this online. But to really simplify it for people, I know I had already brought up earlier that I was using self tanner before, but what I learned during my appointment was my undertones really aren't compatible with self tanners and some of the undertones that are put in self tanners. So let's walk people through undertones and maybe even just the basic colors, the 4 color sections. I think that would be
You got
super
it.
helpful.
Yeah. So the undertone of your skin is something that is produced in your body. It's a genetic trait that you have. You have probably heard at this point in life that the coloring of your hair, skin, and eyes comes from a substance called melanin. Melanin in our bodies is either blended to a warm or a cool tone. And so you naturally in your genetic makeup have this. And so what we're doing is we're just figuring out which one is it and then recommending that you surround your face especially with colors that harmonize, okay? So when we talk about finding your undertone, that's what we're doing in color analysis, and that's what you want to match all of your jewelry, denim, makeup, everything to. And then remind me what the second part of your question was.
Yeah, you want to just walk them through the basics. So obviously, if you are following me on social media, you know that I landed in the season summer. So
Yes.
there are 4 different seasons. I would
Yeah.
love for you to
Okay.
explain those seasons.
Yes. Okay. So at House of Color, the color wheel is broken into 2 seasons for warm tones and 2 seasons for cool tones. Warm tones are represented by our autumn and our spring seasons. Cool tones are represented by our summer and our winter seasons. And the primary difference between a winter and a summer, for example, as cool tones, and an autumn and a spring, is in each warm and cool, we have a bright, clear, really crisp season. So that's a winter. Think of winter as colors that like make sense with the season. Bright white snow, berry colors, but like really deep cranberry, bright
Hmm.
electric blue. These are your classic jewel tones. Whereas summer is a softer, blended, more muted version of that. So you get, instead of fuchsia like you would have in winter, you might have dusty rose or mauve in summer. There's a smokiness or any dusty colors sit in the summer palette. Still cool, but just soft and blended.
Hmm.
Similarly, in our warm palettes, we have spring, which is the clear, bright, crisp. I like to call it splashy. There's like a really fun poppiness about the spring palette. And autumn is the softer, blended, more muted palette. So the other thing I tell people is if dusty is to summer, then earthy is to autumn.
I love that.
There's just like an earthy vibe to it that's just
Hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I'm curious on your end, how many people come in assuming they're one color and then they're another? Because I know I was that case. I think, what
Yeah.
did I come in thinking I was? Did I think I was a winter?
I think you thought you were a winter.
Yeah, I knew I
Yeah.
had cooler undertones, but I definitely was shocked by my results at the end. So how many people come in thinking, "Oh, I'm one thing," and then they leave with another?
It's kind of interesting. I would say actually a majority of my clients really have no idea.
Yeah.
They're here because they're like, I can tell that when I wear certain things, I feel better and I look better and I get more compliments, but I can't see what the difference is between this shirt and that shirt and why some people like one better than the other or why I feel different. And so I'd say that's the majority of people. Although I will say, like, the rarest thing that happens is people coming in thinking they're one season and actually being that season. So,
I know, that's so funny. But even then, I know to my summer season, they're soft, and then there's other variations within that season. So I think coming in and doing this in person, to me, I will always say it's critical to go in person
yeah.
because I think there are so many nuances to this that when you have the drape laid over us and you are racking through the colors, you're looking for particular things. Will you call out a few of the things that you're looking for in person? Because I can vividly remember the things you were calling out with me that I was like, I would never see this if I was using a filter on Instagram or TikTok. It's something you can really only see in natural light with someone there telling you.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things you said that I want to build on. Number one is we always do color analysis in natural daylight with no overhead lighting, no artificial lighting of any kind. And this is what makes in-person color analysis like supremely better over anything that we can do online. The reason is because not only is the lighting a thing, but everyone's cameras on their computers, their webcams, whatever it is that they're using, their phones, they're all different.
Oh my gosh, such a good
So,
point. I have mine set to
right?
night mode all the time, so it has like this orangey hue. That wouldn't serve me any benefit doing one of
Oh,
those filters.
right? So it's like you can stand in front of a window, but your camera is constantly it's constantly changing and refocusing to try and
Hmm.
figure out what the right lighting is and white balancing and all these things. That is not a great environment for color analysis because when the lens is constantly changing and the screen that I'm looking at is different than the screen that you're looking at, like there's so many uncontrollable variables, it's impossible to get a system that's going to read you accurately.
I want to build off that thought too, Kim, because I remember even then you go into this, and I had blonde hair at the time,
Yeah.
and that was something that was working against my color season. So if you're already working against these things and you're using these filters with, say, like makeup that maybe isn't best suited for your undertones, or you've dyed your hair or eyebrows a certain
Yeah.
way, it's never going to give you a clear depiction of where you should land in your color wheel.
That's true.
Yeah, just because you may be using things that are already working against you.
That is very true. In fact, in a color analysis in person, if you have colored hair, we cover it, as you know, from the
Yep.
lovely hairnet,
The
everyone's
bonnet.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is exactly because it will change the way we see your complexion. So we want to
Yeah.
make sure we're looking at a really clean picture of your natural coloring with no makeup, no self tanners, no sunscreens with tinted moisturizers in them, anything that
Hmm.
would change or alter the natural complexion of your skin tone.
Yeah.
We can look past certain things, like a lot of our clients have false eyelashes or microbladed eyebrows. As long as we know about those things in advance, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
We are trained to be able to kind of see beyond that,
Yeah.
but it will impact you if you're trying to use an online filter for sure. If you have colored hair or colored brows or any other like tattooed makeup and things can also impact that.
So when someone's sitting in your chair, what are the few things you're looking for when you have the drape on them for them to really see in the mirror, okay, this is what we're looking for when we have your best color on you?
Yeah, so I can't get into specifics because that is House of Colors IP.
Yeah.
However, I will say that, like, generally speaking, we're looking at the impact to your overall complexion. Is
Yeah.
it brightening, or are we seeing like a muddiness come into your complexion in certain colors? Um, are we are we brightening in a place that looks like a lit from within glow, or are we brightening in a way that's making it look like you're under an operating light, right? You're overexposed, almost like you had a camera flash too close to the face.
Right.
If you look great in warm colors, are we getting you to a beautiful, creamy, smooth, even airbrushed complexion, or are we taking you beyond that? Are you looking a little bit sallow? So we're looking at these things, and then of course we are also trained to look at different specific areas of your face
Yeah.
and look for certain things as it relates to your eyes, the area around your eyes, your mouth, your lips, the area around your face, you know, the over, like I said, the side of your face, your complexion, etc.
Yeah, because you can't get into details, I can at least say on my end, like I'm someone with a very freckly complexion. We saw a difference in the like vibrance
Yeah.
of my freckles versus not. So there are little nuances to each person's skin that is really going to be very telling when you're sitting in the chair that
Yeah.
I would have never looked for before doing this. So I wanted to go over just kind of some of the misconceptions. I know for
Yeah.
myself, summer can be a very intimidating color to get because the first thing you're told is, by the way, black does not live in your color season.
Right?
And for a lot of us, that's a very intimidating thing to hear because we wear black leggings.
Yeah.
I love my black sweatshirts, and we all have that good black puffer coat that we wear during the winter. So if you get feedback like that and there's a certain color you're drawn to and you love, what do you recommend people do with their colors knowing that?
Still wear it.
Yeah.
If you love something, you should wear it. If it makes you feel great, I would never tell you not to wear something. You are correct, though, that black is really popular, especially here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
And we often find here's what I find. People come in and they're very attached to black, and we get them to a season that doesn't include black, which are all the seasons except for winter. And we talk about what are their better than black colors. Another way to say that is like, what is your version of black? What do you love black for? You love it because we think it's slimming, it's very easy, it can be very chic. But there are other colors out there that can provide that same look and feel that are more harmonious for your natural coloring. So for us, since we're both summers, colors like French navy or rose brown, burgundy, also very popular colors, also very easy to find, gonna give us that same like deep and if we want it monochromatic look.
Yeah.
Still be slimming, but actually make us look even slimmer. And our complexion is going to be brighter, clearer, more even, more youthful because we're wearing colors that are in harmony with us and we're not fighting against that color. And that's
What
what you
I
see a lot with black.
What I love what you said when we were in person was, this session is meant to empower you, not limit you. If
Yes.
you feel limited by your colors, then you're not looking at your colors the way you should be. This honestly should be a confident booster
Totally.
from within,
Yep.
and I believe that to be very true. I also think you brought up a great point, when you are someone that maybe owns that signature black coat or you're wearing your black leggings, how can we incorporate your colors into that outfit to
Yep.
balance it out? Because it's not meant to limit you. You're not meant to go
Exactly.
home and throw away everything that you own after a color analysis session.
Definitely not. I mean, over time, people do. It takes, I would say on average, it takes my clients about a year and a half to 2 years to completely transform their closet if that's what they
Yeah.
desire to do.
Yeah.
And I always tell people the most important things you can get right away are your makeup and getting your hair in harmony because what you're going to notice is the highest impact for your color analysis is the area around your face.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're looking at. That's where you're going to notice the most youthfulness and glowiness and things like that when you change into seasonal colors that work for you. But you're right. I never recommend that my clients throw all their stuff away. I do recommend that you separate your closet and try and get dressed for the first couple weeks after your color analysis, just in your colors. That's really just to start training your eye and reminding you every day what you look like when you're in harmony with your colors. But if you love other articles, like one of my favorite things to do in the winter, I still own a black puffy coat. I put on a scarf and a beanie in my colors so that I'm getting my colors near my face. And then it really diffuses the harshness of that black near my skin.
Yeah,
So,
I couldn't agree more. I think it's meant to complement you and you should be using it as a tool. Are there any other misconceptions that you feel like you get when people come into your chair? I can think of one for myself. Obviously, I'm sitting here in my
yes.
Lululemon pull up, and I feel like a lot of people probably come into your chair and say, "Well, I don't go to an office every day. So
Yeah.
why would I get my color analysis done if I'm just wearing athletic wear?" So I'm sure that's a huge pushback you get from people. Any other misconceptions that you hear quite often?
I hear that one a lot, or like color analysis is only for fancy dressing,
Yeah.
right? And I always tell people, for me personally, before I became a color analyst, I was living in my season for over 2 years. So I have a lot of
Mm.
experience just as a client. And what I found for myself was I actually enjoy sometimes having like the cozies in my colors because it's on the days where I don't feel like putting on makeup, I don't want to do my hair, that being able to put on something in my colors still makes me feel great and have confidence that I'm going out still looking pretty put together, even if I haven't done or don't want to do anything else. So I love that one. Gosh, there's so many myths. The limiting factor is a big one that people are worried that they're going to be limited. I want people to remember that we're not, although we're giving you, one quadrant, summer, winter, autumn, and spring, you are getting a quarter of the colors in the universe. You don't only get the 36 colors that are represented by our color fans or that we drape you with in the studio. You can have any color that harmonizes with that palette. So it becomes very expansive, actually. And what I have found over time as well is that a lot of people are almost overwhelmed by how much choice there is. And so having
Exactly.
something that is giving you guardrails that you get to work within can actually be freeing for people because the analysis paralysis of so many choices is narrowed down. You go into the mall, right? And you're like, I can immediately walk through the store and know exactly what's going to work for me and what's not. So it's helping to eliminate decision fatigue while you're shopping, which is another really great thing about color analysis.
I'm so glad you brought this up because I think one of the best benefits of color analysis is the efficiency,
Yeah.
time saving, and money saving
Yes.
element. I know for myself, with the job that I do in content creation, I get the opportunity to work with these amazing brands, but then I'm sent over a lookbook. And from there, I have to make selections. And it's made my life so much easier and more efficient because I'm able to look at a single item, like say the zip up. And if there's 12 different options in a color, I can take out my little color fan that I have and I know right away, okay, these three colors are going to work the best for me, which has saved my time when it comes to
Yes.
shopping and really elevated my confidence because I know, okay, I can guarantee that this is probably going to resonate with my skin and my unique features really
Yeah.
nicely.
Yeah. I love it for this time savings. Like I said, I was a corporate employee when I did my colors, and like all I cared about was getting out the door and doing things in life that made my life easier. Having systems and process that can eliminate fatigue so that I can focus on the other things in my life. Like people find this hard to believe, but I am actually not somebody who spends hours and hours. Like I didn't have a hobby as a fashion before I started doing this
Yeah.
work. I'm drawn to it because it actually simplifies my life and allows me to enjoy the things about fashion and expressing myself through my clothing in a way that makes me feel like myself faster and more consistently than being in this place where sometimes I like my outfit, sometimes I don't. I have to go to an important meeting and I don't feel great. It just eliminated all of that from my life. And meanwhile, my confidence is growing because people are constantly saying, like, wow, did you do something different? Like, no, I literally just put on lipstick and I know
Yeah.
that it works for me. So,
I think this is where you and I resonate so much, though, like very different journeys, but very
yeah,
similar paths. Because, like, for me, it's not like I've been this fashion icon my entire life, although my platform, it may come across in that nature. But my whole intention was, after I had my first kid and my weight changed significantly and my size changed significantly, I was just trying to find clothes that built confidence in that size in that
yes,
moment. And now that I have this tool additionally, it has just made getting to be more confident and walk out the door so much more seamless, so much easier. So I really would stress to anyone that's maybe in a phase of their life where, they're not feeling super comfortable in their body, or, they're just lacking a little bit of confidence when it comes to dressing themselves. They're having decision fatigue in their
yeah.
closet. I know that's such a real thing for a lot of us. Color analysis is so beneficial in those
Yeah.
moments when you're having doubts in your closet, because at least you can know, like, I know this will confidently work for me.
Totally. And it's really freeing. Also, a lot of my clients, and I don't know if you felt this way, but I personally, I was wearing nothing but like navy, black, gray. If I wore a color, it would probably be red occasionally.
Hmm.
And it's really freeing to go to the store and be like, I can confidently buy that sweater in pink or blue or green because I know it looks good on me. Whereas previously, I would have looked at that and been like, I like it, but maybe it's expensive and I don't want to buy it and then not like it or not have confidence that it looks good. So you go back to your standbys of black and gray and blue. And it's allowed me to like open up so much more color in my wardrobe that actually makes me feel more energetic. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of science that backs that up, right? We don't have to look very far to realize how impactful color is in our lives. I mean, especially here in the Northwest, when you wake up and the sky is sunny or
Yeah.
bright blue, it makes you feel way different, right?
Yeah.
So color is really impactful to us, and when we have confidence in choosing the colors that are best for us, it really helps us to actually expand. So another kind of case on the myth of the fact that color analysis is limiting. Most of us end up wearing more color than before, if
Yeah.
not.
How many men do you have coming and seeing you and doing color analysis? Because I think that's
Yeah,
another misconception, is people think,
totally.
only women are doing this, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case. And I think this would be a great tool for men, especially like in working environments and just having that extra boost of confidence.
Yeah, I see. I don't know that number or like the percentage of clients that are men versus women. I think varies depending
Yeah.
on the House of Color consultant and where they are located through the U.S. I see a few more men because I think of my personal network is
Yeah.
corporate, and so I have a lot of male colleagues. I worked in engineering, so there's lots of men.
Yeah.
Um, and what I find is that the men sometimes are even more receptive because they're not raised with social expectations that they know anything about this, right?
Yes.
And so they're like little sponges, like, oh my gosh, this makes my life so easy. A lot of men don't enjoy shopping or spending their free time shopping. And so I'm reducing the time they have to think about that. I'm improving their confidence, especially for like expensive suiting. So I
Yeah.
love seeing men. It's a great service for men. For me personally, I still probably see more like 80% women,
Yeah.
but a lot of women end up sending their husbands in as well,
Yeah.
which is pretty fun.
I know that I'm trying to get Jarrett to go just because it was such a life-changing experience for me, and he can see it too in my confidence.
Yeah.
I know you touched on, like, makeup is really critical, but at the same time there's a little irony in that, because now I feel like I can go makeup free a lot more
Yes.
days because my colors speak for me now. On the days where I
Yeah.
look or feel tired, I'm looking alive and awake just wearing my color.
Yeah.
So it's really simplified my life, but it's also helped me break down those you know, beauty standards that we grew up believing and hearing in the media. It's been able to help me break that down. So I'm just coming closer to my core and who I am, which is why I've loved it, because it's
Yeah.
been a transformation from within, which I think has been
Yeah.
such a beautiful thing.
I
And
love
I feel
that.
like you get a lot of women in your space that come in with these like really vulnerable moments. What do you think is like the majority of reasons why you have people coming to you? What do they tell you? Like, why are they here today getting a
Yeah.
color analysis?
I'd say there's a few top reasons. The first, actually, the number one reason is they know someone else who had color
Yeah.
analysis and they're like, I want what she has because all of a sudden she looks like amazing every day, but she says she's not working that hard at this.
You've gotten a few referrals from me
Yes.
too. Yeah, okay. And I get that feedback all the time. Like I just want you to know, Kim, like on a personal basis, I probably get 5 messages a week being like, whoever did your color analysis, you need to go up and kiss them because like
Oh.
your colors truly have transformed the way like you show up in the world. It looks amazing on you. So like the feedback is real.
It's real. So I always tell people the compliments after color analysis, compliments start changing from I love that sweater to gosh, you look great.
It's a
You
radiance,
look
it's a
so
glow. I get
energetic.
glowing
Yeah.
all the time. You're glowing, which is like probably one of the best
Yeah,
compliments you could
it's
ever
so good.
get.
I know.
Yeah.
Another thing I hear a lot is clients will text me a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month later and say, gosh, you know what? I thought I had bad skin for my whole life. Turns
Mhm.
out I don't have bad skin. I was just wearing the wrong colors.
Oh,
That's another one that I love to hear because that
yeah.
can be something that creates a lot of like lacking in self-confidence for especially for women.
Yeah.
So to hear that like you're saying all you have to do is literally change the color of your shirt. Um, and you can look and feel so much glowier and healthier and youthfulness and reduce the amount of self tanners or reduce the amount of makeup. Some
Yes.
people love more is more, and that's awesome for them too. But
Yeah.
some people don't want to and feel like they have to, and color analysis can really help with that.
Well, that was certainly me. I definitely felt
Yeah,
like for me to feel beautiful and pretty, I needed all of those things, and I was
yeah,
using it as a crutch until I started getting those compliments just wearing my colors. And
yeah,
then before you know it, like you just feel confident walking into the world wearing your
totally.
colors.
I was
Uh,
actually the opposite. I didn't wear makeup because I felt like I looked like a clown. I could not.
Ah,
A lot of,
interesting.
as a cool toned person, a lot of the makeup that you can buy in the store, Sephora, wherever, is warm toned,
Oh my
like a
gosh.
majority.
That is the
And
hardest
so
part. Yeah.
I was trying this, like, it was really popular. Those like Brazilian goddess, the bronze, beautiful. It looks amazing on someone who has a warm undertone.
Yeah.
But I just felt like orange. Or I would try eyeshadow and be like, this is just clearly not for me. And
Yeah.
now I realize like none of that was true, but that was the narrative I had in my head that like I
Yeah.
was not good at application, I didn't look good in makeup, so I just wouldn't wear it. And then I'd go out and see other women and be like, gosh, I feel inadequate, or I feel like um, everyone else knows what they're doing except for me.
Yeah.
And color and particularly style analysis have provided me with the tools as someone who didn't grow up with a mother who was like really into this stuff or really taught me a
Yeah.
lot about this.
And I think that's a lot of us, by the way.
Yeah,
Like, I think we're
more
all
women
trying to
than you would think.
navigate this for the
Everyone
first
thinks
time.
everyone else has it together, and we don't.
Yeah.
Like, everyone needs help. Everyone that comes in, I have women who come into my studio who are like, I feel like I should know this, but I don't. They're almost like embarrassed to be here.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, like, if everyone was really knew what they were doing, I wouldn't have a job, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Same. That same goes for
right?
me, right?
Like
Yeah.
everyone needs help, and some of us just didn't get this guidance. And so, I love being here to help guide people to that confidence and to help them getting the tools they need to feel successful. And what I love about the House of Color system is that we teach you how to do it on your own. You don't need me after your appointment. You don't have to pay me more. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to sell you clothes. Like, I want to empower you to understand how to look and feel your best in a way that you are empowered to go out and shop for yourself and can be confident in it. Of course, I will help my clients with personal shopping too
Yeah.
if they want that, but the real goal is to empower our clients to be able to be their own best stylists.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you obviously offer the resources and tools. You leave with a color fan.
Yes.
So that's what I kind of wanted to touch on was if someone comes in to see Kim today, what can they just vaguely expect out of their appointment, and how do they get started working with you?
Yeah. So you can get started working with me or anyone from House of Color around the country because I know you have listeners
Yeah, we're
everywhere.
gonna have people from all over.
All over, you can go to the House of Color website. So it's color with an OUR because we are a British-based organization. And on there, there's a little link at the top that says Stylist Finder. And you can either type in your city or your zip code, and it'll tell you who from House of Color is near you. We are all trained the same, so you're going to get a consistent experience no matter where you go, and you're going to get to your color season accurately. So you can really trust that someone from House of Color can help you, and that's how you can find somebody.
Yeah.
And then you'll book your appointment, and then on the day of, you just show up. We'll send you some instructions like we talked about already, right? Like you have to come in with no makeup on, and
Yeah.
we may cover your hair, but otherwise, you get to just come be loved on for like 2.5 hours while we help you figure out your best color palette.
Yeah, I was gonna say prep because it is a longer appointment. I think ours
Yeah.
lasted about 3 hours, but we were
Yeah.
filming, so I
And
think
chatty.
yeah,
Yeah.
chatty, exactly.
I'd say
But
on average, it's about 2 to 2.5 hours
totally.
consistently. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say the first half of the appointment is really you breaking it down and explaining. So even if this sounds overwhelming right now and you still need, more tools or information, you use that first half really to break it down before we even sit in the
Yeah.
chair and start. I feel like the analysis is actually like the smallest part of it all, just because you are really breaking down how we understand colors and what we should be looking
Yeah.
for when we're looking in the mirror.
Exactly. And that's because we want you to be successful after we
Yeah.
leave our studios, right? Like I
Yeah.
want you to feel empowered to understand what am I looking for? What am I noticing in my skin tone when I'm in the right colors? So that eventually you could just put on a shirt and be able to see it without even needing your color fan to make sure you're in the right palette.
Yeah.
And that you know how to find the best denim for you, that you understand why certain metal colors, silver or yellow gold, are going to look better against your skin tone.
Right.
There's a lot, what hair colors are going to be best for you and why that is. Would it be better for all over color or balayage? Or there's just a lot of different details that we go over in a color analysis appointment once we know your specific season to help you feel set up for success after you leave.
Yeah, there are such amazing takeaways that go beyond just the color of your shirt.
Yes.
I think people have to understand you're leaving with so much information down to, the accessories you're wearing, the lipstick you're buying, the denim that you're rocking. There's so many different elements that go into this. If someone is still on the fence today and they're like, oh, I just don't know if I want to do this, what would you tell them?
Well, it depends on why they're on the fence. Some
Yeah.
of the reasons are the myths we talked about. Another reason, and this is completely legitimate, right? Color analysis is an expensive service.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, I have a lot of clients who save up. It's because they realize that I would say, if you think about color analysis as a one-time expense, it's maybe changing the mindset to I'm going to make a one-time investment, then it's going to allow me to save way more money over time. If you think about how much we spend on our hair color, for example, I know how much I was spending to keep my hair blonde before I let it grow out to my natural color after my analysis. That like color analysis is less than like one hair color for me.
100%.
So, and I was doing that like every 6 to 8 weeks. So a one-time investment can be really worth it, even though it might feel like a lot to bite off at the beginning. It will 100% save you money over time for all the things that you're no longer buying that aren't serving you.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say is like, do yourself a favor and just invest in yourself.
Yeah.
We spend so much time, especially like for your listeners or followers who are moms. We spend so much time doing so many beautiful things for other people, but we often underestimate the value of taking care of our own care and well-being.
Yeah.
And I am like always just so touched when I have people in my studio who are like buying themselves this as a present for their birthdays, or maybe have received it as a gift from a friend or a husband or a wife because they want that person to have the same gift that they got. So
I mean, a personal testimony to what you're speaking to, I can say easily doing my color analysis last year was some of the best money I ever spent. It ends up saving you money, it saves you time, but ultimately the real goal here is exactly what you said. It's leveling up people's confidence. And I really don't think they truly know until they've sat in a seat and they've gotten their color analysis done how much it's going to impact just their day-to-day decisions.
Yes.
And it's going to make things so much easier. I think a lot of confidence comes from ease, right? When you are the busy mom and you are prioritizing other people and other things, the last thing you want to think about is like, oh my gosh, how am I going to style myself today to feel good in the world? It should
Mm-hmm.
come simple, it should come quick. You shouldn't have to overthink it. So I think that's why I was so drawn to having a conversation with you today, because I know outside of just, being someone that had to really own up to the size that I was and, start dressing in clothes that made me feel good in my body right now, I knew how impactful finding my color season was. It just
Yeah.
was a total game changer. So I feel
Yeah.
so grateful that we had you on the podcast today. I feel like you
Yeah.
gave so much insight too, because there's so much rhetoric online about color analysis, and there's a lot of misinformation, just because, people are using the filters or they're
Yeah.
seeing a quick video on their feed, and there's truly not a lot out there to understand what it even is
Yeah.
and how to get started. So I really appreciate your time. I think people are going to find a lot of value in this episode, just because I know from the DMs I get, there are a lot of people who are curious about this and want to do
Yeah.
it. They just need more. They just need to understand.
Yeah, sometimes people just need a little bit of a nudge.
Yeah.
And, that's where I say, like, if you're thinking about it, just try it. It's a one-time thing. And I often say, like, I am someone who's here curating confidence.
Yeah.
I just do that using the power of color and the power of style. And
Yeah.
to your point, like, you can change the way you feel about yourself and how you present yourself to the world, how other people treat you based on what energy you are putting out as you become more confident. And, are color and style the most important things in the world? Of course not.
No.
How loving yourself and having that, feeling good. I always say, there's the saying that's like, look good, feel good, do good.
Yeah.
I actually think it's feel good, look good, do good.
Yeah.
Because what's inside is so much more important. I'll never tell you that color or style are more important than how you feel about yourself.
Absolutely.
However, they are really beneficial tools to help you feel good and build confidence so that you can go out. And of course, yes, you're going to look good, but you're also going to do good and change the energy that you're putting out.
I would
And
argue that getting a color analysis is a self-care tool.
I totally agree.
Yeah. In my opinion, it's something that you're doing for yourself. You're investing in yourself, and you're going to see it out in the world when you're walking in confidence.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to note before we end today's
Yeah.
episode was, when you are a newbie and you are just beginning, it is okay to leave the house with your color fan. I did this all the
Yeah.
time. I would go to the nail salon. I would walk into Sephora. It's okay to be learning and walking through the world with these colors to figure
Yeah.
out, how to better shop and be better equipped. I can remember walking through Anthropologie with my colors out, and I was like matching it to the sweaters. So something for anyone that leaves. I know at the end of the appointment you will get your color, what do you call this?
Color fan.
Yeah, the color fan. So that's helpful. So you're not just leaving being like, here are your colors. You have an actual tangible fan
Yeah.
that you will take everywhere and you will
Yes.
use all the time.
Yes, yes. Your color fan is the best tool for you to use after color analysis to make sure that when you are buying new things, you are accurately identifying them as in your season. Just so your listeners know, you get a fabric swatch of all the colors in your season. So that's why we call it a color fan. It kind of looks like a paint swatch book, but it's actual fabric samples, and you just hold it up against a shirt and you are able to easily identify whether something harmonizes to your palette, so you can have confidence that as you're going out and buying new things, you're buying them in your correct color palette. Yeah, it's a fun tool. I still take mine everywhere after years. I take
Why
it to the nail salon
not?
too. I mean, for me, it's like, why not get it right? And I
Yeah.
love it when I go to a store and I bring my color fan out, and like a boutique owner will tell me, "Oh my gosh, I've seen so many people with these color fans. It's so
Yeah.
cool. Tell me about what this is." So, yeah, don't feel like it's weird. People do it all the time, and if it helps you get into the right thing, that's what's most important.
Kim, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Where can I direct my listeners to follow you and, support your
Yeah.
business? Where should I send them?
Thank you. So my Instagram is at HOC for House of Color, hoc.seattle.magnolia. And from there, you can link in my bio to our web shop and booking appointments and all that stuff. So that's probably the easiest place to find me.
And I can say, even if you're not local, I love following Kim on Instagram because she offers such useful tips. I'm sure that applies to a lot of the House of Color gals. But it is helpful once you've had your appointment to then follow her, because she'll continue that education past the point of your session. So thank you again, Kim. It was such a
You're so
pleasure.
welcome. Always a
And
pleasure to see you.
it was so nice to see you. And until next time, this is Shelby Say What.